We continue to follow breaking news for you. A shooting victim is in the hospital this morning. The shooting happened at the River Chase Apartments in East Nashville. We're told the 23-year-old victim has life-threatening injuries. Police say he has an extensive criminal history and did not live in the complex where he was shot. The shooter has not been found yet. Happening now, Metro Police are searching for two men who they believe are behind at least two armed robberies earlier this morning. Chris Conti is at the West Precinct. So what do we know about these men that police are looking for, Chris?
Well, Jennifer, they apparently were able to connect these two crimes because of what those two men were wearing. Both clerks who were held up at gunpoint gave similar suspect descriptions of this morning's incidents. Now, the first one began just after midnight at the Tiger Mart on West End. That's right where 440 goes by there. Police tell us those two men walked in and demanded money. One of them had a gun. The man with the gun was apparently wearing a red hooded sweatshirt. They took cash from a store clerk and then took off. About 20 minutes later and about 2 miles away, it was a different scene, but the same situation. The clerk there at the Shell station on Charlotte Ave was also held at gunpoint as two men in hooded sweatshirts demanded money. He gave a similar suspect description, saying that the two men that held him up had a red sweatshirt and a gray sweatshirt on, which is why police believe that these two crimes were connected. Both men are still on the loose this morning. If you have any information, you are urged to call police. We're live in West Nashville this morning. Chris Conti, News Channel 5 HD.
And new this morning, a couple of armed robbery suspects are off the streets in Laverne. Police arrested Mondrell Hess and Willie Harris after a couple of people were robbed at gunpoint on Riverwood Drive last night. The victims ID'd the two men as the robbers. Police say they found a handgun as well as marijuana and other drug paraphernalia. Also new this morning, a 58-year-old woman was found shot to death inside a home in Jackson last night. She died from a single gunshot wound, and police say they are not searching for anyone, but they are interviewing a witness to determine the circumstances that led up to her death. A man accused of killing, then killing again to cover up the first murder, will be brought to Nashville to face charges. Right now, 21-year-old Michael Wright Jr. is sitting in jail in Kentucky. He is accused of gunning down Gregory Johnson and Derisha Cole. Johnson was found shot to death in his car last February near the intersection of Joseph Avenue and Grace Street. He'd crashed his car through the fence at the Salvation Army and slammed into a concrete wall. Hours later, 19-year-old Derisha Cole was shot several times on Chesapeake Circle. Detectives believe Johnson was shot during an attempted robbery, and then Cole was killed because she knew details of the crime. Wright is being held in Louisville on weapons and drug charges. He'll be returned to Nashville after those charges and cases are resolved. DNA testing is being used to identify the human remains found over the weekend in Hermitage. Authorities say the bones may belong to Adam Skulj. The 68-year-old Bosnian native disappeared in August of last year. Several kids playing in the woods found a skull on Sunday near the Jackson Grove Apartments. Investigators say they found no signs of foul play at the scene. A scuba diver from Spring Hill is missing and could be in a large quarry near Birmingham. Darren Gray had planned to dive in the quarry on Saturday, but he never checked in with members of Dive Alabama after he was done, and the group notified authorities. Emergency crews are now using a remote-controlled submarine to search the quarry. Officials say Gary is certified as a solo diver. Police are turning up the heat looking for a man who attacked a smoke shop clerk with a knife. Here's who they're looking for. Metro Police say the attacker spent an unusual amount of time in the Magic Vapor Smoke Shop on 8th Avenue South Sunday night, and when the clerk asked him to leave, he pulled out a knife and attacked him. The clerk was cut during the struggle. If you recognize the man, please call Crime Stoppers at 74-CRIME. A man who drank too much mouthwash called 911 apparently too many times, and he has now been arrested. Murfreesboro police went to Robert Zetwak's home after he called 911 6 times to tell the dispatcher that he was drunk. The 62-year-old told police he was drinking mouthwash because it was cheap. Zetwak remains in jail on a $1,500 bond. Happening today, gospel music's biggest award show is happening at Lipscomb University. The 45th annual GMA Dove Awards start at 6:30 at Allen Arena at Lipscomb. The show recognizes the best of inspirational music from genres ranging from country, praise, and bluegrass to hip-hop and rock. And while the Dove Awards are being given out tonight, the show itself will not air on TV until Sunday. If you are in need of legal advice, tonight is your chance to get it free. Volunteer attorneys with the Nashville Bar Association will staff phones between 6 and 8 tonight to take your calls. Just give them a call at 615-242-9272 to ask your questions. Again, it is completely free and there are no strings attached.